Have you ever wondered what truly happens in that final mysterious moment when a soul prepares to leave this world? We often fear that moment. We imagine it as a time of darkness, of silence, or perhaps, most frightening of all, a time of solitude. We worry that when the end comes, we will be alone, facing the unknown. But Padre Pio, the humble friar of Pietrelcina, who lived with one foot on earth and the other in heaven, tells us a very different story. He assures us that for the faithful, the hour of death is not an empty room, but a crowded one. It is not a moment of abandonment, but a moment of arrival. Today, we are going to journey back to the winter of 1915 to a small room in Foggia to witness one of the most profound spiritual battles Padre Pio ever fought. We are going to look through his eyes as he comforts a dying woman named Raffaelina Cerase. We will uncover the incredible reality he saw unfolding around her deathbed, a reality where guardian angels draw their swords, where saints descend to welcome their own, and where the Virgin Mary herself comes to wipe away the final tears. This is the story of how Padre Pio saw the invisible world fighting for a dying soul, and it is a story that promises that you, too, will never be left alone. Before we enter this sacred space of history and mystery, I invite you to join our circle of prayer. If there is a fear you are carrying, a loved one you are worried about, or a burden that feels too heavy to bear alone, please write it in the comments below. And if you cannot find the words, simply write Amen. As you scroll, if you see a prayer from a brother or sister that touches your heart, please reply with a word of encouragement. Let us be the visible angels for one another today. To understand the magnitude of what happened in that room in Foggia, we must first understand the bond between Padre Pio and Raffaelina Cerase. She was not just a casual acquaintance. She was one of his first and most beloved spiritual daughters. Born into a noble family, she was a woman of immense intelligence and deep piety. But her body was frail, and her life was marked by suffering. By late 1915, her health had collapsed. She was facing the end. But for a soul like Raphaelina, and for a spiritual father like Padre Pio, the physical pain was only the surface of the struggle. The true drama was happening in the spirit. You see, the great masters of the spiritual life teach us that the enemy of our souls, the devil, often reserves his most vicious attacks for the very end. He knows his time is short. He knows that once a soul crosses that threshold into the arms of God, he has lost them forever. And so, in those final days and hours, he tries to sow seeds of despair. He tries to make the soul feel abandoned, unworthy, and terrified. Raphaelina was experiencing this final trial. As her body weakened, her spirit was assaulted by dark thoughts. She feared she had not done enough. She feared the judgment of God. She feared that perhaps, after all her prayers and sufferings, she would be lost. She was engulfed in a spiritual darkness that threatened to steal her peace right before the end. Padre Pio, though he was not always physically present in the room due to his own illnesses and the restrictions of his order, was watching her with his spiritual vision. He knew exactly what was happening, and so he began to write. The letters he sent to her during this period are some of the most powerful, urgent, and revealing documents we have on the reality of the dying process. They are not just letters of comfort. They are battle orders. They are descriptions of the invisible reinforcements that God was sending to her aid. Padre Pio needed to pull back the veil for her. He needed to show her that what she felt, the darkness, the fear, was an illusion created by the enemy, and that the reality was a blaze of holy light surrounding her bed. In one of his most stirring letters, he addresses her fear directly. He doesn't dismiss it, but he reframes it. He tells her that the devil is shouting specifically because he is terrified of losing her. But then, he shifts his focus to the defenders. Padre Pio tells her to look, not with her physical eyes, which were growing dim, but with the eyes of faith, at the figure standing right beside her. He speaks of the guardian angel. For many of us, the guardian angel is a sweet childhood concept, something we think of when we are protecting children. But for Padre Pio, the guardian angel was a warrior. He was a prince of the heavenly court, charged with a sacred duty. Padre Pio assured Raffaelina that her angel was not merely a passive observer waiting for her to die. He was active. He was skirmishing with the enemy. Imagine that image. The saint saw the angel engaging in spiritual combat, blocking the lies of the devil, whispering truths into her soul, and standing as a shield between her frailty and the malice of hell. He wrote to her, urging her to have confidence in this celestial brother. He reminded her that this angel had been with her since the moment of her conception, had walked every step of her life with her, and certainly would not abandon her now, in the most critical moment of her existence. He described the angel as being faithful and solicitous, hovering over her like a mother, but fighting for her like a soldier. This teaching is profound for us. It reminds us that our guardian angel is most active when we are most helpless. When a person is in a coma or sedated or too weak to pray, the angel does not sleep. The angel prays for them. The angel stands guard. Padre Pio saw this happening for Raphaelina. He saw the angel repelling the dark suggestions of despair that the enemy tried to whisper into her mind. But the angel was not alone. As the days grew fewer and the end approached, Padre Pio widened the lens of his vision. He told Raphaelina that the room was filling up. He spoke of Saint Francis of Assisi. Raphaelina was a member of the Third Order of Saint Francis, and Padre Pio reminded her that the seraphic father, Saint Francis, had a special love for his children. He told her that Saint Francis was there, waiting to escort her soul, ensuring that she who had tried to live by his rule of poverty and humility would be welcomed into the kingdom by the saint himself. Think of the comfort this brought her, to know that the saint she had venerated all her life was not a distant figure in a history book, but a present friend in her room. It speaks to the doctrine of the communion of saints. That death does not separate us from the holy ones of God, it draws us closer to them. And yet, there was a presence even greater than Saint Francis. In his final letters to her, Padre Pio unveils the ultimate consolation. He tells her that the Virgin Mary, the Mother of God, is attending to her. This is perhaps the most touching part of the narrative. Padre Pio writes with such certainty, such tenderness. He tells Raphaelina that the Blessed Mother is sitting by her bedside. He uses intimate, maternal language. He says that Mary is there to sweeten the bitterness of the final agony. He describes the Virgin Mary not just as a queen, but as a mother who cares for a sick child. He assured her that when the moment came, she would not be looking into the void. She would be looking into the face of her mother. He told her that the Virgin Mary would present her soul to Jesus. It was as if Padre Pio was choreographing the transition for her, telling her exactly who was standing where, so that she would not be afraid to close her eyes in this world and open them in the next. Padre Pio wrote to her, "The Most Holy Virgin attends you." He assured her that Mary was treating her as a dearest daughter. The devil wanted Raphaelina to feel like a rejected criminal. Padre Pio showed her she was a beloved daughter. The battle was between the lie of abandonment and the truth of adoption. As December 1915 turned into January 1916, the physical end drew near. The spiritual assaults intensified, but so did the consolations. Raphaelina, guided by Padre Pio's voice, whether through his letters or his bilocating presence, began to find peace. The terror of the final trial began to recede, replaced by a quiet resignation and a hopeful expectancy. Padre Pio's vision of her deathbed is a lesson in the geography of the supernatural. He teaches us that a deathbed is a meeting place of two worlds. On the one side, There are the weeping relatives, the doctors, the physical reality of breath failing and the heart slowing. But on the other side, unseen by the crowd but visible to the saint, is a triumphant procession preparing to begin. When the moment of death finally came, it was not the terrifying event Raphaelina had feared. It was a release. It was a gentle passing from the shadows into the light. Padre Pio later confirmed that she had passed not only safely but with great glory. But the story does not end with her last breath. What happened immediately after her death confirms everything Padre Pio had told her. In the days following her passing, Padre Pio was asked about her soul. His response was filled with joy. He did not speak of her as dead. He spoke of her as alive and safe. He revealed that she had gone to heaven. He saw her. He saw that the guardian angel who had fought for her was now rejoicing with her. He saw that St. Francis had indeed come to guide her. He saw that the Virgin Mary had kept her promise. The invisible army had won. The devil, who had roared so loudly in her final weeks, had returned to hell empty-handed. This event, this specific death in 1916, gives us a blueprint for our own hope. It answers the question, who will be with me? Padre Pio teaches us through Raffaelina that we must build a relationship with our invisible escort now, while we are alive and well. He often complained that people ignored their guardian angels. He would say, "How close to us stands one of the celestial spirits, who from the cradle to the grave never leaves us for an instant. He guides us, he protects us like a friend, like a brother." He was frustrated that people thought of the angel as a fairy tale. For Pio, the angel was as real as the person standing next to him. He urged his spiritual children to converse with their angel daily, to build a friendship, so that when that final moment comes, we are not turning to a stranger, but to a lifelong friend who knows the way home. Imagine the difference this makes. If we believe, as Padre Pio saw, that our room will be filled with light and defenders, death loses its sting. It is no longer a lonely fall into the abyss. It becomes a transfer of location. It becomes the moment where the veil, which has been thinning all our lives, finally tears open, and we see the faces of those who have loved us from the other side. Raphaelina's story also highlights the power of intercessory prayer. Padre Pio fought for her. He prayed, he suffered, he wrote. He took on her fears so she could have peace. This reminds us of our duty to the dying. When we sit by the bedside of a loved one, we are not just holding their hand. We are standing guard with their angel. Our rosaries, our prayers, our words of comfort. These are the weapons we hand to the angel to help fight off the despair of the enemy. We are part of that invisible army. There is a beautiful detail in the aftermath of Raphaelina's death. Padre Pio mentioned that she, now in heaven, would be able to help those she left behind even more than she could on earth. This completes the circle. The soul that was fought for, once victorious, becomes a fighter for others. She joins the ranks of the saints. She becomes one of the invisible helpers for the next person facing their final trial. As we reflect on this, we must ask ourselves, do we live with this awareness? Do we walk through our days realizing that we are never, ever alone? Padre Pio's vision of the guardian angel fighting for the dying woman is a call to confidence. It destroys the lie of solitude. It tells us that God has organized the entire universe to ensure that not a single soul who desires Him is lost to the darkness. He has assigned a Prince of Heaven to watch your very steps. He has given you His own mother to sit by your bed. He has given you the saints as your family. So, when we think of our own death or the death of those we love, let us not think of the silence of the grave. Let us think of the crowded room in Foggia. Let us think of the flash of the angel's sword and the gentle hand of the Virgin Mary. We are travelers, yes, and the journey can be hard. The road can be steep, and the final hill, the hill of death, can seem daunting. But we do not walk it unaccompanied. We have an escort. We have a defense. We have a love that waits for us, watches over us, and will fight for us until we are safely home. Let this story of Raffaelina Cerase be a shield for your own heart. When fear whispers that you are alone, let the voice of Padre Pio remind you of the truth. You are surrounded. You are guarded. You are loved beyond measure. Thank you for listening to this account of Padre Pio's vision. May it bring peace to your heart and strength to your soul. If this story has touched you, please share it with someone who might need this comfort today. And remember, the angel who stood by Raphaelina is the same kind of angel who stands by you right now as you listen to this. You are never alone.